In 2024, CNN released its annual list of the best airports in the world. Shockingly, not even a single American airport made it to the list. This wasn't the first time, though. U.S. airports were also absent from the 2023 list. Asian airports like Singapore Changi Airport and Doha Hamad Airport in the Middle East have dominated the game for several years. However, there is a list where American airports are frequently mentioned, and that's the list of the world's busiest airports. The Atlanta International Airport, or ATL, has held the title of the world's busiest airport for almost 24 years. The only exception was the year 2020, when the COVID pandemic affected travel. In 2023, it served some 105 million passengers. Some 2,000 flights arrive or leave daily, and the airport stays humming from morning to late at night. To maintain its status and improve the overall experience, ATL is undergoing an $11.6 billion renovation. Atlanta is the big city to Deep South residents, but once you leave the region, it starts to feel smaller. Atlanta's metro area is smaller than that of New York City, Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas, and Houston. One would naturally think that the more populous regions would be home to the world's busiest airport. So how does Atlanta City, despite ranking 36th for population, end up having the busiest airport? Several factors have placed ATL at the top. A prime one was the foresight of city leaders in the early 20th century and the political will to follow through. In 1919, Coca-Cola's founder, Asa Candler, donated a racetrack which is the current site of ATL. Due to this, the airport was named Candler Field. This site was just 10 miles south of downtown Atlanta, close enough to be used by residents but far enough out to grow as needed. The land around the airport is also one of the few relatively flat areas in a region marked by mostly hillier terrain. This is in stark contrast to airports in New York, which simply don't have space to grow. LaGuardia, for example, is partially built on reclaimed land and is surrounded by water. It has 2 small runways and can't add any more due to space constraints. Beyond LaGuardia, there's the nearby JFK Airport and the Newark Airport. Since all of them inhabit the same airspace, they have to coordinate takeoffs and landings with each other. This isn't the case for Atlanta Airport. Moreover, the fact that it's the main airport in the metropolitan region is another driving factor. ATL is located within a 2-hour flight distance from 80% of the nation's population. This makes ATL an ideal connecting point for flights between North America, Europe, Latin America, and beyond. Its 5 parallel runways are very efficient and allow 3 simultaneous runways. According to an aviation expert, it's like running 3 airports together. However, Atlanta Airport has been operating at near capacity for the recent years. The narrowest point of the airport, Concourse D, is dramatically undersized. It is only 60 feet wall-to-wall, including gates, seating areas, and restaurants. The actual space set aside for walking is less than 20 feet, leading to congestion during peak travel days. Opened in 1980, Concourse D is only 2/3 the size of the other facilities that house airline gates. The new expansion will widen Concourse D to 99 feet. It will also increase the seating capacity by 1,000, bringing the new total to 6,400. The expansion will allow larger capacity jets to pull up to the gates. Construction is expected to be completed by 2029. What's interesting is that Concourse D will remain functional during this period. The project uses a unique building technique with prefabricated modules to modernize and widen the concourse. The crew built 19 modules at a construction lot adjacent to the airport. Each module is attached to Concourse D's existing structure overnight. This way, the whole structure is being expanded without disturbing any flight schedule. Funding will come in part from $88 million allocated by Congress in the bipartisan infrastructure law. Concourse D's modernization is coming for $1.3 billion. To add a bit of visual element to the airport, 2 canopies are added over the traffic lanes at the north and south terminals. This will provide a stunning gateway to the world's most traveled airport. Nearly the length of 3 football fields, the canopies create a dramatic entrance to the domestic terminal from both the ground and sky. Each canopy is supported by 19 super trusses standing 74 feet high. The canopies are covered with thousands of LEDs, creating a breathtaking effect at night. Each canopy has more than 3,000 light fixtures. all of which are programmable. The structure has become a symbol of Atlanta and a civic storytelling device. Now, beyond these superficial renovations, ATL is also working to improve its customer experience. It's easier said than done since almost 100 million passengers use it each year. Domestic and international passengers and 7-gate concourses. In the domestic terminal, there are plans to include engineered trees and other foliage for a park-like feel. Renovations on concourses T, A, B, and C include elevating and slanting the ceilings and adding glass to allow more natural light. The extension of Concourse T will include up to 5 additional gates. On the other hand, a new Concourse G will include 10 gates and a connection to the international terminal. The ATL's plane train is also slated to see some changes in routes. The plane train is an automated people mover system at the Atlanta airport. It runs on a 3-mile loop track and operates every 2 minutes. The plane train will be extended to the east to serve Concourse G and to the west to create an improved train turnback. The existing parking decks adjacent to the domestic terminal are aging and lack adequate spaces. These decks are currently filled to capacity at times during more than 6 months of each year. This deck is adjacent to the SkyTrain Gateway Station next to the Georgia International Convention Center. It's connected to the airport via a 2-minute ride on the SkyTrain. The new park ride lot on Sullivan Road will provide 1,000 additional parking spaces for customers. A new north and south deck, along with the additional west deck, will allow the ATL to accommodate more passenger volume. As mentioned before, Atlanta Airport has 5 parallel runways. This is more than most big airports in America, such as JFK or LAX. The airport's 5th and last runway was completed in 2006. Yet despite having 5 runways, ATL is still operating at full capacity. A big reason for that is that ATL houses the headquarters of Delta Airlines. As Delta's primary hub, Atlanta serves as a crucial hub for connecting flights, attracting millions of passengers each year, and contributing significantly to the airport's overall traffic volume. Delta was also recognized as North America's most on-time airline in 2023. It's no wonder the carrier is popular among passengers. ATL first got its label for busiest airport during World War II. The airport's 2 main carriers, Eastern and Delta, relinquished their aircraft to the military and switched their focus to training pilots and mechanics. This continuous pilot training, which involved takeoffs and landings, is what originally made Atlanta the busiest airport in the U.S. This photo shows the Delta hangar surrounded by a sea of military aircrafts awaiting modifications. Since then, ATL has seen no break. It has continued to top global charts for a record number of passengers each year. As part of the recent renovation, there's a plan to construct a 6th runway. Airside work will occur in phases over the next 2 decades, beginning with the replacement of taxiway and runway pavement. Due to a lack of local competition, Atlanta Airport is known as the powerhouse of the South. The airport is a major driver of business activity in the state of Georgia. The airport generates an economic impact of $66 billion for the state. It also single-handedly employs 63,000 crew, ranging from security officers to airline experts. That's why there's a strong emphasis on keeping the airport in tip-top shape. ATL connects passengers to an incredibly vast network of routes, with non-stop service to more than 150 domestic destinations and international destinations across 6 continents. Whether it's a business trip to New York City or a vacation in Paris, the airport connects passengers to cities near and far, cementing its position as a global aviation hub. While ATL has long been a leader in the aviation industry, it faces tough competition from new airports in the Middle East and Asia. Since its inception in 1926, ATL has seen massive enhancements from time to time to hide its age. However, it still can't compete with a 21st century airport built from scratch. That would explain why ATL isn't included in the best airport list. By 2040, it's estimated that Middle Eastern airports will handle 1.1 billion passengers annually. With over 110 airports, this is already among the fastest aviation markets in the world. What makes them enticing is the central position of the Middle East, acting as a crossroad for major economies of Asia, Africa, and Europe. The latest data shows that Doha Hamad Airport in Qatar tops the list of the best airport carriers in the world. Like ATL, it's the primary base of the national flag carrier, Qatar Airways. It has even dethroned a 12-time winner, the Singapore Changi Airport. The Hamad Airport is designed more like a luxury hotel or resort than an airport. With 5-star lounges, designer shopping, and high-end dining, it offers a premium experience to all travelers, even those not flying first class. Ahead of the FIFA World Cup 2022, Qatar heavily invested in expanding the airport. They introduced Orchard Garden, an indoor tropical oasis similar to Changi's Jewel, but with a more seamless design. Unlike Changi, which serves as a hub for Southeast Asia, HIA is strategically positioned to connect Europe, Asia, and Africa seamlessly. Plus, Qatar Airways, one of the world's best airlines, operates from here, enhancing passenger satisfaction. During COVID-19, HIA maintained strict safety protocols and was one of the first to get a 5-star COVID-19 safety rating. This earned it extra points in global rankings when airports were judged on post-pandemic recovery. In recent years, Changi Airport and Hamad Airport have consecutively topped the list. So there are a lot of things that ATL and other North American airports can learn. A good airport shouldn't feel like a transit hub, it should feel like a destination. Both airports feature extensive glasswork that allows maximum light inside. During a layover, passengers can utilize various leisure facilities like cinemas, spa, rooftop pools, and much more. As more and more airports pop up around the world, the competition is only getting fierce. More than 400 airports are planned or are currently under construction. With increasing population and better travel technology, the demand for air travel is exponentially rising. We have made an exclusive video about 2 upcoming airports in India, so if you're interested, you can watch it after this one. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we will catch up in the next one.